The sun had barely crested the hills of Willow Creek, a quiet suburb in Northern California, when I stumbled out of bed on a crisp October morning in 2024. My name's Caleb, a night shift nurse who just survived a grueling 12-hour shift stitching wounds and soothing chaos. My small, meticulously maintained front lawn in this sleepy neighborhood was my sanctuary, a patch of emerald perfection where I could decompress after nights spent piecing broken people back together. I'd mowed it to surgical precision the day before, each blade aligned like a soldier on parade. So, when I cracked open my blinds at 9 a.m., still in my scrubs, and saw a garden party erupting on my grass, I thought I was hallucinating. There she was, Lydia, the self-anointed empress of the Willow Creek Homeowners Association, standing in a flowing silk dress, a glass of Prosecco raised high as she toasted to neighborhood unity. A violinist strummed delicately behind her, white folding chairs fanned out like a wedding setup, and glittering silverware sparkled on linen-draped tables. My lawn, my pride, had been hijacked. 30 strangers in pastel outfits sipped mimosas, their heels sinking into my turf, while a caterer hammered tent stakes into my freshly planted petunias. I'd been asleep less than an hour ago, and now my property was Lydia's personal stage. I threw on a hoodie, stormed onto my porch, and called out, "Lydia!" She didn't flinch. I tried again, louder. "Lydia!" She turned, offering a smile so patronizing it could have curdled milk. "Oh, Caleb," she cooed, as if I'd interrupted her coronation. "You're awake. We're just borrowing your lawn for the fall community brunch. The sunlight's better here than at my place." I left a note. A note. I blinked, my brain still foggy. What note? She sashayed to a rose bush by my driveway and peeled off a pink sticky note. It read, "Yard for HOA brunch. T checks. Smiley face." "You stuck a post-it on my bush," I said, my voice low and deliberate. "That's not permission." She waved a manicure hand. "Don't be so dramatic, Caleb. It's one morning. The HOA board approved it. Your lawn's so orderly. It's perfect for this. Really, it's a compliment." I stared at the chairs denting my grass, a cooler dragged across the sod, tearing roots. "You can't just take my property," I snapped. "This is trespassing." Lydia's smile tightened. She pulled out a clipboard. "Per HOA bylaws, Section 12C, shared zones can be used for community events with a vote. It's all legal." I didn't vote. I didn't consent. This is my land. "Oh, Caleb, you're so tense. Have a croissant. The raspberries are divine." She turned back to her guests, dismissing me like I was her assistant. I retreated inside, my pulse hammering. Lydia had commandeered my yard, humiliated me, and acted like I should thank her. But I wasn't helpless. I had a weapon she didn't know about: a smart irrigation system installed last summer with my friend Zoe. It had full coverage, adjustable pressure, and a phone app that could turn my lawn into a water park. I texted Zoe, hypothetical, how hard to drench 30 people with sprinklers? Her reply was instant. Light mist or tsunami? I grinned. Let's ruin some hats. As Lydia flitted among her guests, playing hostess like she was at a charity gala, I sat at my kitchen counter, sipping coffee and plotting. More people arrived, 50, now spilling onto my driveway. Someone plugged a speaker into my outdoor outlet without asking. Neighbors waved at me through the window, thinking I'd signed off on this. I snapped photos of every chair mark, every trampled flower, every extension cord. This wasn't just about water anymore. This was war. At noon, Lydia took center stage on my lawn, tapping her glass for silence. "To elegance, community, and harmony," she declared, arms wide. I leaned back on my couch, opened the sprinkler app, and pressed activate all zones. For a split second, the world held its breath. Then, with a hiss like a dragon waking, the sprinklers roared to life. Arcs of water blasted across the lawn, twisting like liquid missiles. The first jet hit Lydia dead on, knocking her designer hat into the mud and sending her Prosecco glass soaring. Chaos erupted. Guests screamed, silk dresses plastered to their bodies as they fled. Tables flipped, macarons dissolved into soggy heaps, and the violinist abandoned her instrument with a wail. Lydia spun, shrieking, "Caleb, what have you done?" Her dress clung like wet tissue, mascara streaming down her face. I stepped outside, coffee in hand, feigning shock. Oops. Meant to hit missed. This one's labeled Monsoon. My bad. A neighbor, Sarah, was already filming, narrating like a war correspondent. Live from Willow Creek, Lydia's brunch just took a bath. Lydia lunged for my phone, but I slipped inside and locked the door, watching her smear muddy hands on my glass. In 10 minutes, my lawn was a swamp, littered with soggy napkins and shattered egos. But I wasn't done. I had photos, videos, and a plan. That night, Lydia showed up with 2 HOA cronies, Martin and Elaine, clutching clipboards like shields. "You disrupted an authorized event," Martin droned. "On my property," I shot back. "You had no permission." Elaine faltered. "Lydia said you agreed." I held up my phone. "I've got 40 photos of your trespass, videos of you stealing my power, and a post-it note Lydia calls consent. I'm filing a trespassing report and sending this to my lawyer." They froze. Lydia's confidence cracked. "You wouldn't sue the HOA," she hissed. "Try me." They slunk away. The next morning, a fake HOA citation appeared on my lawn, accusing me of unauthorized sprinkler use. I laughed, snapped a photo, and called my neighbor Tom, a retired property lawyer. "This is a Word doc with clip art," he chuckled. "Let's bury her." We filed a complaint with the city and requested an HOA hearing. Lydia tried to spin the narrative, claiming I'd sabotaged a charity event, but the viral sprinkler video now, circulating online, told the truth. Neighbors, some soaked themselves, turned on her. They shared stories of her overreach, using their yards, gates, even a neighbor's shed for her events. Her empire was crumbling. At the hearing, my security footage played on a projector. Lydia's smug speech about harmony cut to her hat flying and guests scattering. The room gasped and laughed. The HOA president, Mr. Harper, glared at Lydia. "You said this was a misunderstanding. You claimed permission." She stammered. "It was an interpretation." "You trespassed," I said coolly. "You forged documents and retaliated with a fake citation." The board stripped Lydia of her title, fined her for damages, and held her liable for my lawn. She sat, speechless, as neighbors cheered. But she didn't stop. A week later, a letter arrived in a lavender envelope, accusing me of defamation and demanding $1,200 for her vintage hat. I forwarded it to my sister, Rachel, a legal commentator with a TV show. "Let her sue," Rachel laughed. "I'll make her the villain of the week." The video hit Rachel's show, then the internet. Memes of Lydia's soggy spin went viral, captioned "Lydia's wet reckoning." She went quiet, her house dark, her driveway empty. I wasn't done, though. I hired a crew to install a 10-foot iron fence around my yard ornate, imposing, with a digital gate and a sign. Private property. Irrigation active. Lydia raged, filing complaints, posting rants, even placing tacky planters near my fence in protest. Nothing worked. The city upheld my permits. Neighbors praised the fence, some ordering their own. At the next HOA meeting, residents aired years of Lydia's abuses. She was banned from leadership, her influence shattered. Weeks later, a for sale sign appeared in her yard. She left without a word, glancing at my fence one last time. The neighborhood bloomed, kids played, people talked, meetings became civil. I hosted a barbecue, my gate open to those who respected it. Sarah raised a toast. To Caleb, who showed us boundaries are power and sprinklers are justice. My lawn's greener than ever. But I wonder, was I too harsh? Did Lydia deserve her downfall? Or was she just clueless? Should HOAs have less power? But do they keep neighborhoods in check? What would you have done? Let it slide or fight back? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button, and subscribe for more stories where everyday people take a stand.